first Sun and Fun fly-in was held in Lakeland in 1975. 1,980 guests and 365 aircraft participated in that event. In 1978, the fly-in was the second largest event of its kind in the United States. This is a title the event still holds today. The average attendance of more recent fly-ins has climbed to more than 200,000 visitors and participants. In 2015, an economic impact study conducted by 2 Florida Southern College professors estimated that the organization's total economic impact, including the non-expo days of the year, exceeded $130 million. Joining us in the studio today are Commissioner George Lindsey and Sun and Fun Fly-In's Director of Marketing, Cali. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
If it's okay with you, let's just dive in and talk about all things Sun and Fun.
Absolutely, and it's right around the corner.
Yes, it is.
Well, I had suggested this topic because we're on the eve of the fly-in early next month, and this is another example of a great partnership between the Sun and Fun organization, the City of Lakeland, and Polk County through our sports marketing and tourist development committees. And it really is a huge economic boon to the area and draws attention to Central Florida and Polk County and the aviation industry here, which is becoming a much more viable, integral part of our industry to help diversify. And just as a resident, long before being on the commission, enjoying either the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds, or there's a Canadian team here a few years ago.
Yes, there was, as well as the Breitling Jet team, yes.
So it's a fun event, and it's a win-win-win-win-win situation. So Carol, tell us what we can expect coming up.
Oh, this year's Sun and Fun fly-in event is going to be spectacular. We think it's going to be better than ever. For those that have attended in past years, we do have a lot of new things this year, which will even incite you to come enjoy the event all week long. We do, again, have the United States Air Force Thunderbirds always put on a spectacular performance, as well as the precision is just unbelievable. We do also have, for the first time, a reenactment of the bombing of, or the attack, I should say, on Pearl Harbor, with a reenactment team from Tora. So they bring replication type aircraft of the Japanese aircraft. There will be other on-site aircraft also joining in. So this is going to be an all-out attack. We're talking with pyrotechnics and everything else.
Wow.
We have over 60 different performances, daily air shows, 2 night air shows on Wednesday and Saturday, put to music with pyrotechnics. We have a local pyrotechnic company out of the Central Florida area for the first time this year.
Nice.
They are famous for their wall of fire. So if you want to see at the end of an air show, end of a nighttime air show, this huge wall of fire, come on out. We also have the honor flight. We have all kinds of different events going on throughout the week.
Nice.
I'm glad you mentioned the honor flight. I had the privilege of participating in that a few years ago, and the reception was at the airport, and then the idea was to make it part of Sun and Fun, and I was not on the honor flight when that first came back to the Sun and Fun event, but I was on the ground when it did, and it's really a remarkable occasion to celebrate those World War II vets going up to Washington and see the monuments and memorials during that day visit. Unfortunately, now those vets are aging off and passing at the rate of 1,000 a day. And that's sad, but now we have the chance to continue to honor our Korean vets and our Vietnam vets, and just veterans as a whole who've made all this possible for us. One of the challenges that Sun and Fun face is getting people in and getting people out, and the county has recognized that, along with everything else in that part of the county. So you will see that we have been doing some infrastructure improvements in the area. Recently resurfaced West Pipkin.
Yep.
And through the assistance of my colleagues on the county commission, we moved up 4-laning West Pipkin up several years. It's still going to take years to finish, but we moved that project up on the capital improvements list, and we'll start seeing some activity out there.
That's most welcome and most grateful, not only for the fly-in event, but for the now, because we've extended our different activities on the Sun and Fun Expo campus, much like you said, with partnership with City of Lakeland and Polk County. We do have over 70 events this past year, calendar year, and going into this next 2018 year, I think the number is close to 90 different events on our campus. So some of these are the ones that we put on ourselves in support of our Aerospace Center for Excellence, which is the benefactor of all our different proceeds from our Sun and Fun Fly-In event that funds all the different education and young adult programs throughout the year. But those other events also exposes not only the different entities that come in to make use of our Sun and Fun campus to the wonderful amenities that our area has to offer, but it does, as you said earlier in your opening, bring an economic impact to the county as well as the city, which we estimated for the 2017 timeframe to be close to $175 million. So it is, as you said, a very strong partnership between all the different entities to make it all work.
I don't think people realize how many scholarships come out of this program. I read that and was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize what all goes on the Sun and Fun Expo campus, which is also known as now as our Aerospace for Excellence core part of the program for the Polk County Public Schools. We have the Central Florida Aerospace Academy is right there on site. The Lakeland Aero Club, which is the largest high school flying club in the country. And as you said, the scholarships that go into enabling young adults to take part in aerospace type activities, whether it be, yes, getting your pilot's license, getting your airframe and power plant certification. You're not only positioning them to be productive citizens as they grow older and look for careers in the area of what should be, but also at the same time they're learning production skills to be self-reliant, to be a good citizen, to give back. So whether they take those skills directly within aerospace and aviation or whatever path they choose to go down in the future, goes very well and plays back right into being a productive citizen in the county. Yeah.
Well, I had the privilege of attending the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast on campus here a few weeks ago, and the point was made that the Center for Excellence has become the hub for an aviation influence industry in Central Florida. As part of that, our airport partners in municipalities around Bartow, Winter Haven, Lake Wales, I guess, will also have benefit from the Sun and Fun event because we simply can't accommodate all the private craft that come in for this event. And so that benefits the entire regional area. You have considerable number of volunteers that come up and participate days ahead during the event and post that have been coming back for years and years.
Yes, that the past year and what we anticipate for this year is close to 3,500 volunteers. We have what's called yearly birds. Those folks that help out on the campus doing all kinds of different activities, whether it's education related for our community outreach programs, doing just regular work within the 25 acres of the Sun and Fun Expo campus. You name it, these folks are fantastic. They help out and do. We could not accomplish anything without them. We also have a core group of what we call early birds. Those folks come in about the January time frame. Yes, many of them are snowbirds, but then again, they're giving back to the community as well as the Sun and Fun Expo campus and all the activities that we have prior to even the fly-in, which we had, say, the Strawberry Cluster Dog Show. We had the FMCA Motor Coach Rally was in town. All those different entities are being exposed to what the City of Lakeland and Polk County can offer them from an economic as well as a recreational standpoint. Those volunteers help us make that happen. Our Sun and Fun staff is very small. We're about 25, 26 employees. We make all these activities happen. We pull off a fly-in event with the assistance of 3,500 volunteers. So like you said, those folks, some are local, but most of them are coming from all over the area. Even the attendees themselves, the 200,000 that you made mention to. Those are every state in the country, as well as I think last count was 80 different countries last year. It's a huge representation.
Yeah, I didn't know one of my relatives is in the British version of the Air ROTC, and she came over last year as a volunteer. I had no idea that the Sun and Fun pulled volunteers from that far away. She came from Great Britain.
those cadets, they come over, they do all kinds of fundraising, every year, and they're like our counterpart, like you said, to the junior ROTC here, the Royal Cadets, and this is a big trip for them. And as one thing, yes, it's the experience of a travel, it's the exposure to Central Florida, which is great, exposure to, what we can offer here in the United States. But what's most important to those cadets is they'll just come right out and say, an air show like this is so different because they don't get the opportunity to walk among the planes, to touch them, to feel them, to smell them, to talk to the maintenance crews, to talk to different pilots of all different present, current, and future type aircraft. And there's a group that comes in from Norway. There's another group that comes in from Germany. I mean, in addition to all the educational schools from around the country that come in. Yeah, the Royal Air Force Cadets, I mean, they're kind of famous for what they do, They're a great bunch, and they always give back, like you said, they're out there volunteering, but there's all kinds of educational opportunities that go on within the flying.
Well, I'm proud of the partnerships that we've created on this event, and these partnerships cascade to other cooperative events with our municipal partners and surrounding areas. And we are enjoying a great renaissance in that regard. There was a time when our city and county partners didn't always get along and share common interests, but those days are gone, and the hand across the borders has been remarkable. To compare what we do, indeed it is an international event, and it takes the teamwork of Carol's team to pull this thing off, but the teamwork that it takes to accomplish this and the corresponding economic impact, many communities across the country, every community across the country is very envious of what we have here.
The funding or the proceeds from the flying event itself is the primary funding for our Aerospace Center for Excellence, which, as you said earlier, referred to earlier, as far as the impact of scholarships and education programs that the Sun and Fun organization, the flying itself, can fund the Aerospace Center for Excellence. So it's the programs for the CFAA students, the programs for the Lakeland Aero Club, programs for all the Polk County schools across the board. We touch over 10,000 students a year with our outreach programs. We have over $2 million in various education programs that we fund, as well as $430,000 in scholarships on an annual basis. Wow. So as you said, we provide, this work of the volunteers, of the relationships with all the different entities, the Lakeland Airport, City of Lakeland, the fire department, the police department, the county, everybody plays into this. But the benefit is round circle, because the opportunity to the number of students in the Polk County area, and sometimes in instances of surrounding counties that take advantage of the CFAA and the scholarships themselves, pays back tenfold.
Well, thank you both for coming, and it is a very exciting event. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing, and thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity.
Look forward to it.
Thanks. The upcoming Sun and Fun Fly-In and Expo are a valuable showcase for Lakeland and Polk County. Visitors from around the world will be staying in our hotels, eating in our restaurants, and experiencing firsthand everything there is to see and do in beautiful Polk County. Please make sure to visit www.flysnf.org for information on the daily schedule.
Women-owned businesses are a force to be reckoned with, and they're on the rise. In support of their continued growth, the U.S. Small Business Administration, or SBA, is here to help by giving women entrepreneurs access to the tools they need to start, succeed, and grow in their business ventures. Leading the way is the Office of Women's Business Ownership, or OWBO. Its mission is to foster the participation of women entrepreneurs in the economy, especially those who have been historically underserved or excluded. Through various programs, OWBO provides business training and counseling, access to credit and capital, and marketing opportunities, including federal contracts. Here's how. Women's business centers are staffed with knowledgeable advisors to help women start and grow their businesses. They're located in almost every state, and each adapts its services to the needs of its community with training in finance, management, contracting, marketing, and more. You'll even find offerings in different languages and dialects. Centers also offer access to SBA's financial and procurement assistance programs. You can also find customized resources at sba.gov in our Learning Center. Our online self-paced courses cover a range of topics tailored for women, including those who are over the age of 50 and those interested in government contracting. If you are interested in making the government your customer, SBA's Women-Owned Small Business Program could be for you. If you self-certify or have an SBA-approved third party certify you as a women-owned small business or an economically disadvantaged women-owned small business, then you could qualify for certain contracts set aside exclusively for women entrepreneurs. If your business is at least 51% owned and controlled by one or more women, and primarily managed by one, you may be eligible. Women entrepreneurs are vital contributors to the business world and to the American economy, and SBA is here to help them succeed. Visit sba.gov/women to learn more about how SBA helps empower women business owners across the country.
Polk County's Indigent Health Care program, funded through the voter-approved half-cent surtax, was set up to address the health care needs of medically vulnerable individuals in Polk County. One of these programs recently funded was the new Graduate Medical Education program at Winter Haven Hospital. This program will bring more family practice resident physicians to our area. By investing $3.75 million in this program over the next 3 years, Winter Haven Hospital will employ 45 full-time employees, including the resident physicians. This will result in approximately 14,000 patient visits annually. These services will include unfunded and underfunded medically vulnerable patients. Joining us today is Commissioner Hall, who is here to discuss this program as well as other behavioral health programs recently approved by the board. Welcome, Commissioner Hall.
It's a great program. Polk County is a medically underserved community as a whole, and we need to be able to find some way, and hopefully this is one of them, that we can bring doctors, physicians into our community and let them spend their residency here, and afterwards, hopefully if they have gotten a taste of Polk, they'll want to stay. I think that that is a good feeder program as far as getting physicians in here and taking care of the indigent in our community, and a good way to spend the half-cent sales tax money. We have contracts with physicians all over Polk County to serve these people, but why not use it and get a double bang for the buck? We get resident physicians in here, and we get our medically compromised population served. So it's a great program.
Yeah. How about some of the more recent programs that have been voted on by the board? They're more behavioral health focused.
Behavioral health, mental health, by another term, is a problem not only in Polk County, but nationwide. We're trying to do everything that we can to get our residents the help they need. As a matter of fact, this year we have increased funding out of the Indigent Health Care sales tax from $3.8 million to $6.6 million. We're doing that by adding some new programs, expanding some existing programs, and I think that hopefully we'll be able to see more people and have a bigger impact on those that are in need. One of those programs is called Helping Hands. It utilizes off-duty fire staff and off-duty EMS staff that are already trained as EMTs and paramedics to make sure that we're touching base with some of the inmates as they get out of our Polk County jails. They are given prescriptions. A lot of times there is a high rate of recidivism or return to jail because they're not taking their medication.
Oh, wow.
And if we have staff that can go by and see them and make sure that they're taking their medication and just check on them, all they need is a little helping hand. And hence the name for the program, Appropriate.
Yes.
So, and that's just one of them. We've got partners in our community, Peace River Center, Tri-County. We have a lot of partners that are taking a look at the mental health problem that we have in Polk County, and they're trying to come up with a solution that they can present. And as we get new things that come forward and make sense, then we'll probably be approving them.
Now, these are people who are on the front lines of the mental health problems. So it's not educated guesses you're making. You're actually asking the people who are on the front lines, how can we help?
Absolutely. These are the professionals, the mental health professionals, the counselors, the trained individuals that that go out and touch base with the individuals every day. And it makes a difference when you're getting a professional opinion as just opposed to someone on a street corner saying, do we have a problem? Well, sure. Most people can read and say, yes, we've got a problem, but how do we fix it? What can we do? What's the best place to spend and utilize our funds that's going to give us the biggest return? And I think that's what our citizens expect of us. Now, one of the things and one of the ways that we do that is by taking the recommendations of these professionals, and we have all of the proposed programs vetted by a committee that the board has seated, and we've each made appointments to the Citizens Health Care Oversight Committee, or the COC, and they vet the programs really well, not only just for the physical programs, but the mental programs also. Then they make a recommendation. Once that recommendation is made, then it's up to the Board of County Commissioners to say, yes, we agree, no, we don't. But most times, most often, we'll take the advice of the professionals.
Okay.
So,
now, the programs we're talking about now are county-funded programs. I know at the May 6th board meeting, you discussed some opportunities for state and federal monies to be used towards programs. Could you touch on that as well?
Oh, absolutely. The feds, the federal government is making money available for mental health programs locally. That's going to be passed down through the states. And the state budget has some money in it for what's termed FACT, F-A-C-T, and CAT. It is teams that go out and meet with people that have been released from jail or have mental health issues that are going to, could prevent some very bad things happening in our society. So I think that the state this year in their budget, they've got like $19.5 million, if I read their budget correctly, for those FACT and CAT teams around the state. What we have to do is make a request for those dollars, make a request for the money. And once that request is made, then they'll review our request against every other request in the state and see if we are should get funds for those teams or not. I think that, and then we have additional dollars. If you have been following a very tragic shooting episode down south, as a part of the budget that was passed, and the legislation that was just passed last week, there's additional dollars for school resource officers and counselors so that we can hopefully identify people that have some psychological needs, some mental needs, and start interacting with them and helping them before we get to those types of things.
Yeah, so dealing with the problem before it actually happens, proactive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it if we can, and encourage. And here's the thing: a lot of people do not want a stigma attached to a friend or a family member, so they're hesitant in speaking out. The best way for a friend or family member to help someone is to speak out and say, listen, you know, we have this person that we think really needs some help. Can we get them some? Mm-hmm. And that's going to be paramount to making all of or any of these programs a success, is just having people other than the professionals that are willing to join in and partner and say, listen, this is a person that really needs help, and how can we get it?
Yeah, and you're helping not only them, you're helping the community at large when you identify a problem of that nature.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If the young man in Parkland had gotten help, maybe we would not have had that tragedy. And others around the nation like it. There's nothing to say that it would have absolutely prevented it, but the chances go up that it could be prevented if they get help early. Mm-hmm. So I think that we need to start to focus on it, and for those, our loved ones, our friends and family, if we see a problem, then we need to be bringing it forward. Yeah. So it's
Now, if I'm a family member or someone who does have a problem, or I just feel strongly about this issue, and there are state and federal funds available, what would you recommend? Calling local politicians, calling state politicians? How would you suggest? Is there a way for us to try and see that some of the funding makes it to Polk County? Oh,
absolutely. The best way to see that state funding makes it here is to call your Florida state legislators. And find out who is in your district and who you need to speak to, and say, okay, we're in need. And once that happens, then they can go back to Tallahassee and start working on something for us. I wouldn't wait till next year. We have funding, like I just said, that has been made available in this year's budget. So start calling them right now and say, we need help. This is a problem in our community, and we want to be part of the solution. So start calling them and see if we can't get some of those funds.
Well, Commissioner Hall, thank you so much for joining us. And this is a very important topic, and one that you obviously feel passionate about. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me and discussing this hard topic.
Yeah. Polk County was federally designated as both a medically underserved community and healthcare professional shortage area. Currently, there are 1,950 Polk residents for every one primary care physician, compared to the state ratio of 1,040 Florida residents to one primary care physician. The programs discussed today are part of the Polk County Board of County Commissioners' commitment to improving those statistics and improving the quality of life for some of the county's most vulnerable residents. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Commissioners' Report.